I'm Jamie, aka Scumboy.
I'm Andrew Walsh, aka Bat Phantom.
I'm Kevin, aka Neon Nazgul from the Operation Pug Podcast.
A proud member of the Gonna Geek Network.
Just like the show you're listening to now.
The opinions expressed are those of each individual host.
Check out all the podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
And get ready because geekiness begins in 3,
2,
1.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 330, I almost said 333, of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. This is recorded live on Sunday, September 30th, 2018. We're almost to that festive time of year for Halloween. You guys ready for some Halloween hijinks? Wille, you going to go trick-or-treating?
You have rang my favorite holiday.
I wish I hadn't now.
I was going to mention it and things are getting into, but yeah, I'm ready for it now.
But do
I'm
you
definitely-
know? Yes,
Definitely
Thriller.
ready for Halloween because
could
I
say
have
you're-
Thriller.
Chilled to the bone.
Please don't turn this into a dick joke. Please don't turn this into a dick joke. Please don't turn this into a dick joke.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of how to do it exactly.
I am. How do I turn it to the dick?
He's like, wait, how do I make that a dick joke?
Let me go get the vibrator from the freezer.
Oh, look what you did, Chris. Look what you did.
I'm sorry.
That was
I'm
on you. I
very
wasn't even going
sorry.
there. What are you going as Halloween?
I'm going as the scariest thing I can think of. Willie D. Nelson.
I knew you were gonna say that. You know what I'm going as? The most popular thing on the internet right now.
Bowsette?
Bowsette, you're right.
Nailed it in one.
I can't
How
wait to
does
see
this
your
thing-
costume.
How is this thing so fucking popular? How?
Because it's the internet and random things become popular.
How did it even go to Bowser in the first place? Who said, this thing for Toadette, let's put it on Bowser. And let's give him big ass titties and getting fucked. You know what? I actually I went to Pornhub.
Oh no.
And I was like, I didn't look at any of the videos. I looked at the titles and sort of like the thumbnails. Just like I was so curious, like, because I saw a thing saying Pornhub put out a thing said Bowsette searches went from 0 to 350,000 in a short amount of time. So I had like, what kind of fucking videos could they have on there already? Yeah, I saw one of Bowsette where Boo gets the little hat thing to turn to Peach, and Bowsette scissoring on a rotating bed thing while Mario's in the corner jerking off. That was very weird. What is wrong with you people?
Yeah.
And that was story time with Willie.
Da, 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 da. That's it.
That one. That's all we're going to play of it. We can't play any more of the world's worst bump ever. That's all we will ever do of it.
And also, it has Naki's name in it, not mine.
Well, I mean, I could literally mute that just a split second to say, Willie, and then start the music back up. But I don't want to try to do it.
Then why'd you even...
What?
Huh?
What?
What?
Eh?
Who?
Huh? What?
Where?
We're going to pass by this, aren't we?
Probably.
Okay. Just making sure.
It's probably safer that way.
So how hard is your shell getting for Bowsette?
I don't know,
I'm
Willie.
ready.
Why don't you share with us first how hard your shell is getting?
I'm ready to shellac that ass.
Nice wordplay. I approve of wordplay.
I'm waxing it
See?
down, make a hard coating on it.
Fantastic, baby.
Well, thank you everyone for sticking with us. You're probably all going to quit watching the show now, but thank you for joining us today on episode 330 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. We are out.
I do want to say something before we go.
Too late. It was over.
I knew very little about Bowsette. I saw it. Of course, I saw it on Reddit. Like, what the fuck's all this? I don't get. Okay, so I just bypassed it. Just went by it until Naki said something, and then I had to ask her, and then she had all the information that told me everything about how it came to be. So you can thank Naki for it. She's here in spirit.
All right. So
I thought it was funny because I saw a couple little things here and there on Twitter, and then I went to scroll through my Instagram feed, and all of a sudden, like 4 of the artists I follow had spent the day doing Bowsette drawings, including I can't remember if it's Reek or Reich, R-I-E-Q or R-E-I-Q. He does a lot of just gorgeous anime characters, video game characters, and his art style is he does them all really voluptuous, big butts, big boobs, but like just he's a gorgeous artist. He does all these fantastic prints that he sells at all the cons he goes to. He spent the day doing Bowsette drawings in his sketchbook. Like he had, I think, like 5 or 6 of them in the Instagram post that he put up. It's like it's been a thing for like 5 minutes, and already like everybody's covered it. It's like holy shit! It's just it's everywhere, spread like wildfire.
We have an urgent question from the chat room. Then Sailor Pullen asks. So here's a question for you. It's canon that Peach wears a thong. Does Bowsette? Now, first of all, I had to ask, how do we know this is canon? And I found out the creepy internet comes into play again because in Super Mario Tennis, someone took a screenshot up her dress and she's rocking the thong. So,
there you go.
Evidently, the internet creepers have determined that is canon. So we have to ask, what does Bowsette
There's a
wear
qualifier.
really?
Commando. That's the only answer for this question.
There's a qualifier to your question. Does the Bowsette you're drawing have or not have a tail? Because I think a thong would be harder engineering-wise if a character has a tail.
I can't believe
I've seen some with tails, without tails, with a shell, without a shell, with a shell without a tail, with a tail without a shell. But there's one thing they've all had:
Horns.
the horns.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what tells you it's Bowsette is having the horns. Because otherwise, it just looks like a chick that might have a turtle shell on her back or not.
Peach. It looks like Peach. At least I hope it looks like Peach. Otherwise, then what's the fucking point if it doesn't look like Peach?
This is true. So, according to Sailor Pullen, furries put their characters in thongs all the time. It's not impossible. So, the thong is still on the table.
I didn't say it's impossible. I just said it's more of an engineering feat if a tail is involved.
This has been Furry Talk with Bachman.
What the hell are we doing today?
I didn't start this. Don't look at me. I didn't bring it up.
Is it really furriness, though, when Bowser is a mythological creature?
A furry kind of...
And has no fur?
Dressing up as an animal-type creature has kind of evolved to... furry kind of covers all the anthropomorphic characters. So just because the character is like a dolphin, like it could still be a furry costume. It just wouldn't be, furry like a wolf costume. But I think it could still fall into the furry category. It's more about being an anthropomorphic version of a character.
I don't know. What was that Super Bowl thing? The left dolphin, or was it the right dolphin?
Left
and right dolphin.
Shark. Oh, that's right. It was a shark.
Yeah,
Wasn't that like
Kelly Perry sharks.
Wasn't that felt?
Yeah, but that would still be kind of soft to the touch. So I think they could still count them as furries if they wanted to have fun. If they wanted to have fun in that shark suit, I don't think they would. I don't think they'd kick him out of the group.
It'd be a little weird. Like, you're on thin ice, buddy. But come on in. You got this. Sharks here, everybody. Ooh, he took a bite out of me.
All right, so more education. That's scalies are reptilian furries and wingers are bird types.
Oh, okay, so they do have a classification for them now.
This is what Sailor Poland is informing us. I
had not heard these yet.
Neither did I. So I would say thank you for...
Do we really need a genealogy for different people who like different suits of different animals?
Well, we have different classifications for people that like different types of S&M, so yes. Humans love putting other humans in categories. Humans love to be categorized. Humans love to be subcategorized. It's one of our favorite things. We like to join teams and be named.
Fuck people.
What we fucking do. Because there's 8 billion of us, and we're getting bored.
Oh, it was already 8 billion? I thought it was under 8 billion.
I don't know. There's too fucking many is what there is.
It was like 7.6, 7.8 billion? Billion?
Why don't you cut that down to 5, Willie, and we wouldn't have this fucking problem.
I told you that's a plan I'm trying to work on.
I'm saying get on it.
I mean, I can't just start, just singling out people because that's just dumb. I just do one person, then I have a chance of get caught before I get to 2 billion.
Well, you kill 10 people, you're a murderer. You killed 2 billion, you're a conqueror. You don't want to be a murderer. Conquerors don't go to jail.
Conquerors rewrite the history books.
Yeah, no, they don't. The history books generally judge them fairly harshly once they're done conquering.
I'm sorry. You look at China's history books and you tell me what's what.
I don't hear anybody talking shit about Genghis Khan. They're still afraid of that motherfucker. And he took over half the planet with a bow and arrow.
Boy, boy.
Just the one arrow. Imagine what Hawkeye can do with 12.
And this has been History Talk on the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast.
You heard that. Hawkeye took over Mongolia.
Well, isn't it better than furry talk, Chris?
I understand history a bit
picking and
more.
choosing here.
There we go.
Far be it from me to judge how people decide to do things. I just don't understand that.
It was furry, scaly. What was the third one?
Wingers.
Wingers.
Yes.
Nice.
We learned a lot today. We know what we learned.
I'm going to say not so nice. I wish I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, Willie, you can probably forget.
I mean, I have a terrible memory, so I probably will anyway.
Exactly. I mean, it's not like I'm going to remind you at the end of the show about the wingers, the scalies, and the furries.
Oh, you could do that, but will it stick with me till next week?
I mean, I can just write a script that sends you a text message once every hour.
Now that you should do.
Oh, you can do that.
With a definition and a random photo.
Yeah, go ahead, do it.
I'm lazy, so I'm probably not going to.
I know, I'm hedging my bets on that.
But that would be so awesome.
Yeah, but he's not going to do it.
Because I'm lazy.
Bitch.
I'm
That's
lazy.
true.
No, I'm not a bitch. I'm lazy.
You're a punk bitch, is what I said.
Punk bitch? Oh,
Whoa!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Really. I guess you're still offended from what I told you in the pre-show.
Aren't you going to go all the way to Triple Dog there?
No.
To be a punk ass bitch? Just go all the way up there, Billy?
No, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm a classy
at
son of a
punk
bitch. What can I say?
Right. You're classy, so you're stopping at punk bitch. All right.
I'm a classy son of a
He's
bitch.
a classy bitch right there. Mr. Willie D. Nelson.
You left out some words there.
No, I
think
said
you
it
got him.
perfectly.
Yeah,
And this is why you're a punk ass bitch.
Oh, see, now we've hit level 3. All right. It's a slight breach of etiquette, but he jumped
All
up
right,
to the
Chris.
triple dog
What's
dare.
next?
You know what's next. I'm going to hit the bump.
Bump!
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
So we've hit that part of the show where we roll into the news of the week. It's where we talk about what's in our minds, some of the most interesting, geeky, and or nerdy news to have dropped in the last week. Willie, why don't you start us off this week? What do you got for us? What's exciting in the world of Willie D. Nelson?
My dick. No, but for real.
I knew I was setting that up. I should have stopped.
Yeah, you did that. Don't look at
I
me.
should have just stopped. I should have known better.
You can't hand Bachman a burrito and not expect him to eat it.
That's true. If you set them up, we will knock them down.
I mean,
This is
what?
kind
You
of the-
tied
kind
my
of the-
hands.
kind
I
of
had
what we
no
do here.
choice. What else am I supposed to do?
I mean, you could just powered through and...
With his dick?
Really? You're going to lead off with that, Chris?
You don't have to make it dirty.
I'm trying not to, Chris. You're an enabler.
How am I
He's
an
awake.
enabler? I said something
He's
innocuous and innocent.
He's awake and he has a microphone in his hand, so yes, he does have to make it dirty because he's Willie Nelson.
You goddamn right, but I'm just going to power through it.
The shit is
Like,
that?
I'm kind of powering through it like PlayStation is with all these complaints that people want cross-platform play. Ah, that's a good segue, wasn't it?
It was acceptable.
That's
That's fair enough. Yes, so Sony is beta testing. I don't know if you see these quotes I'm doing and emphasizing the words. They're beta testing cross-platform play with Fortnite alone to be cross-play with PC like it already was, phones and tablets like it already was, but now with Xbox One and Switch. The problem is they already did that last year with an accidental flip switch when the people at Epic Games, they accidentally had cross-platform going on. And the way people knew that was on PlayStation, you can't have a space in your PSN name. But on Xbox, you can. So when people were playing, like, wait, this person has a space in their name. That's how they found out that they were playing with people on Xbox.
Which I still find amazing that people play so much games that they actually were able to notice that while playing a match in Fortnite. All I'm doing is running and trying to not get shot. I don't notice anybody's fucking name.
Well, like when you die, it shows like the person's name. You get killed by blah blah blah.
Right.
Or you can get randomly put in a team of 3 other people or 1 other person. So it could also that stays constantly on your screen. Or they could stay till the very end and see, oh, this person won, and they just bloop their names all across the damn screen.
Okay. I think I've only played like 1 match, so I was not enthralled with Fortnite.
I have fits of it where I like this. I'm gonna stay away from it. Ooh, I'll play again. Oh, it's free to play, so I mean, it's always gonna be there.
Yeah, which is another reason I'm not in a rush to put in a bunch of hours on it.
But hopefully, Sony, what they put out was they're still even though they're doing this cross-platform, they're doubling down. They're saying, but we're still saying PlayStation is the best way to play this game. We don't want to muddy it, but we will.
Of course, that's what they're going to say.
Well, I mean, the bigger thing of where this becomes problematic is they're doing cross-platform, but only for Fortnite. If you're Psyonix and Rocket League, which has a huge player base across multiple consoles, be it Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, PC, things like that, they didn't enable crossplay there. It's only in Fortnite. Only because Fortnite is so big, they could no longer keep saying, no, we're not going to do that. So,
but let's also it's only cross-platform against consoles. Rocket League is cross-play with or cross-platform with PC.
So it's the same situation that they had with Fortnite. It's just Fortnite is bigger, so they caved. That's what it is. It's still the problem of not allowing cross-platform play on some of these things where everyone else is like, let's do it. And I understand the business reasoning for it, but it's blatantly customer hostile.
I'm the same way. I don't agree with it at all. They need to just do it. But
what it does now is it sets a precedent. It's like the first time something happens legally. After that, everybody going forward can refer back to it. And so now any game that comes to Sony, then they say, hey, we want cross-platform on all platforms. And Sony will say, well, no, we don't do that. We'll say, yeah, what about Fortnite?
But that doesn't matter. Fortnite's an exception to the rule because they have to. And since they run their own thing, it's not like legal exceptions where you can say, look at past case law. This says you have to do it. You can say, hey.
It gives them a reason. It gives game developers a reason to argue with Sony about it.
Yeah, but
okay, I apparently didn't. I didn't research this enough. What do you mean they have to? What's making them do it?
Nothing.
Oh, no. You said they had to.
No, in legal precedent, it basically sets a standard that has to be met from that point going forward. It's kind of like that where it'll be something that they can reference to. It's not something that they have to do because they're still a company. Sony can do whatever the fuck they want. But now anytime a game comes to them and says, hey, we're putting this game on Xbox and Switch and PlayStation, we want it to be cross-platform, and Sony says, no, we don't do that. Every time going forward, that game company has the option of saying, well, what about Fortnite?
But it doesn't matter because it's not like they're not going to sell their game to Sony and sell it on their platform, considering there's twice as many PlayStations as there are Xboxes.
Well, I'm just saying,
this whole thing is toothless. It doesn't matter, though. The argument doesn't matter because Sony's going to be like, well, you can either abide by our rules or not. F you.
So before it had never been done, and they had no argument. Now they at least have something to argue, and you say that's not a difference.
It's not, because Sony can be like, okay, it's still our platform. Let's see what happens when Fallout 76 comes out. I bet you they don't. I bet you it's not cross-platform. I bet you Anthem's not.
Which is why you need to buy it on PlayStation.
That's true. Although I'm not even set on buying it because it's fucking EA. So
yeah, well, there is that.
Damn it, Willie. I mean, you get to have your own Iron Man armory. It's awesome.
I can go back to the PS3 and just play Iron Man 1 or 2.
Those are not that good.
I mean,
I'm not disagreeing.
The thing is, if Sony decided to open it up on a bunch of these games, like Rocket League, and saying that future stuff that was coming out was going to be, that's an awesome, great thing for consumers. All they did was cave on Fortnite because so many people are playing Fortnite. It probably made a difference to their pocketbook. The people said, well, I've got it on these other consoles. Why don't I just buy it on that? So they paid their microtransactions through Xbox Live or Nintendo Switch or PC, and Sony wasn't getting the cut. That's why they made the decision, to stop the PR black eye and to get their cut of the microtransactions. It was not to be like, hey, gamers, we know you want this. No, it's...
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying now that they've caved on Fortnite, if they see a bump in sales, that might give them to go ahead to say, okay, well, it worked over here. Let's check out this game. Let's try it on this game. Maybe then they do add it to Rocket League and it goes across all the platforms. Because, it is the dollar amount. It's only going to be the dollar that changes Sony's mind. They're not doing it to make people happy. They're doing it to make money as a business because they're a fucking business. But if they get a big enough bump on Fortnite because that many people are playing it, that's going to make their team look at it and go, well, maybe we should make some more money over here. It's just like the Sony Spider-Man deal. They only did the deal with Marvel to make more money. That's the only reason they did it. So if Fortnite can actually bank them a ton of cash once it goes cross-platform, why wouldn't they look at doing it with other games?
I don't think it banks them a ton of cash. I think it just keeps them from losing some of the stuff they were losing.
Maybe. I'm just saying it's an option. I'm not saying it's guaranteed they're going to do it. I'm just saying now it's one more option that they can look at.
And I'm still not thinking this is fixing one of the bigger problems with the whole Fortnite thing is when you make a account on PlayStation, it locks it to PlayStation.
Epic was doing something with a beta that was going to allow something to unlock that or transfer that between two accounts. I can't remember what I'd read on that, but there is something at play on that one. So my hope is that this all leads to true crossplay on some other stuff. But realistically, I know it's not the case.
This is what people want, Sony. Just fucking do it. I don't give a shit about changing my PlayStation name because apparently I chose a one I can agree with. People are also wanting that. Do that too if you want to, whatever. But do cross-platform. It needs to happen. Because they're listening to me, apparently.
Yes, I'm sure Willie D. Nelson is who they're listening to for their PlayStation advice.
Well, if they're smart.
Well, Trophy Level 24 speaks volumes.
What level 24?
Trophy level.
Oh, very nice. I don't know if that's good or bad or what.
Well, it's over double mine, so that's pretty good.
It's not the best out there for by a whole lot, but it's above average.
I got to level 10 before I ever got a platinum, but I got a platinum.
And before we move off this topic, Sailor Poland did bring up in the chat room, every number console at number 1 does this. Microsoft did last generation. They did, and I thought it was a bad decision then, too. But to be fair, the scale and scope of things has changed a lot, where there's more cross-platform stuff that is out there now. I don't know. I would love to see things be truly cross-platform. I think trying to lock someone into a console just so they can play their version of a game that's on multiple different consoles is annoying. And the technology's there to fix it, because we've already seen it happen by accident, like Willie mentioned in Fortnite.
Accident.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Quotes.
I'm pretty sure someone at Epic flipped a switch just to kind of try to prove a point, and that's where we were.
That's what it was in the news stories.
Has the actual Fortnite game came out? Has anybody played that, or just everybody plays the Battle Royale?
Everyone plays the Battle Royale because
does anybody play the actual game?
I played the actual game some. That's why I actually bought the game originally, and then they put out the Battle Royale part of it. But this is all because, remember, PUBG was huge for a long time. You went on Twitch or Mixer, everyone was playing PUBG on their PC before it even came to Xbox and things like that.
There's still at least one player on the live set of the top 5 or 6 focused players on Twitch almost every time you go on that's playing PUBG.
Oh yeah, PUBG is still huge, but then Epic was kind of like, hey, we've got this game we've been developing. I bet we could do something similar. So they made Fortnite, because remember, Epic and PUBG, they sued each other at one point in time, trying to claim it was copyright infringement and that PUBG had like a trademark to Battle Royale games, which obviously didn't hold up. So Epic kind of built Fortnite Battle Royale to be like, hey, let's cash in on this success of the Battle Royale version of PUBG and see what happens.
Well, so PUBG was basically trying to say that they own the concept of 100 players on a map fighting?
They did try to argue that. It was interesting. So the fact that Fortnite, they built quickly, it would appear, and then overtook them is kind of impressive. But I would say that arguably Fortnite takes a better approach to it, where they're doing these multiple seasons and different kinds of packs and different events, folding in like Thanos. When the Infinity War stuff came out, they had Thanos mods and stuff on there, putting like weird random purple blocks that fall from the sky on there that gets people talking and saying, what's this purple block doing here? Let's try and get in. Screw this. Doing like comets flying through the map. that at a certain time are going to hit somewhere. So people jump in and don't shoot each other. They're all watching to see where the comet's going to hit and stuff happens. They've done an awesome job of building a world that people like to be a part of.
Well, and I would think with the animation style, theirs is a lot easier to update than PUBG because PUBG is fully realistic, right?
Yeah, PUBG is realistic and Fortnite is cartoonish.
Cartoony.
Yeah, it's almost like Blizzard cartoonish version of a combat world almost, right?
Kind of. Sailor Poland brings up a good point. Asks, are you saying they're going to incorporate Bowsette now? If Nintendo will make a deal, they'll do it because they made a deal with Marvel for Thanos. So
there'll be a bunch of Fortnite players running around chasing that tail.
So here's the thing we can do. Chris, you can download Fortnite. Or you already have it, so we can cross-play. But you can also download on the PlayStation. We can actually talk to each other at the same time.
I wonder if you can talk across, because I believe with the Switch you could.
You can't talk to anybody on the fucking Switch. Don't give me that bullshit.
Wait, listen. Fortnite is the only game on the Switch where you can plug a headphone and microphone into the headphone jack and be able to talk to people through it.
So it's possible?
It's possible, yes.
And they're just making people just use that app on their phone. Are you fucking kidding me?
And if you want
Nintendo, if you're doing worse.
Willie, if you want to get into more Fortnite exceptions on Nintendo, Fortnite, you don't have to have Nintendo Switch service online to be able to play it. You don't have to buy their yearly subscription.
That's what I'm getting to. Free. You don't need PS Plus to play Fortnite online.
Yeah, but then
you do for Xbox, though.
But then I have to use a PlayStation controller, and I like the feel of an Xbox controller. And we're not starting this fight again. It's just my personal preference.
No, well, hold on a second. You can't just lay that down and then say, no argument.
Willie,
that's just it.
Willie, we fought about this last week. It was the dumbest argument we've had on this show.
Don't say that. We've had plenty of dumb arguments.
Okay,
I'm not sure
it was in the top 5 of the dumbest arguments we've had in this show because it devolved down to, well, I like my controller. Well, I like my controller. Well, you're stupid because you like your controller.
It's valid anyway because I'm talking about so we can talk to each other. That was the main point.
But like I was trying to get to, since you can do talk across on Switch, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to do talk across on PlayStation and Nintendo and things like that. You just have to party up via the Fortnite game versus using the party tools that Sony, Microsoft, and have things like that.
If you read what Sailor Poland just put in the chat room, Bowsette could definitely show up in Fortnite because apparently Nintendo's disowning her.
Yeah, but the question is, if you make her look too much like a Nintendo thing, can they sue you for copyright infringement? And I have no idea what the rules are in any of that. But I think it would be hilarious if Bowsette showed up in Fortnite.
I think it would fall under parody law.
Potentially. We'll see what happens.
Because it's not an actual character that they have. It's a parody of a character. That's the Weird Al Yankovic rule right there. They could get away with that shit.
I'm going to say that's a Switch exclusive skin.
You know what F you that would be if Epic decided to make Bowsette Switch exclusive.
That would be funny as hell.
300,000 Switches were sold today. What happened?
Just a bunch of people following around Bowsette looking at her tail.
They are selling a Switch bundled with Fortnite as an exclusive console later, and it gives you like 20 V-Bucks and a couple exclusive skins, I think it is. But I was like, really?
20
This
V-Bucks?
is what we're doing? Yeah, so really, you save
nothing.
$20 by buying this bundle is what it comes down to. And I was like,
$20 worth of V-Bucks.
20. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
$20 worth of V-Bucks. So
you need hundreds to do anything.
Yeah. Maybe it was 200. I can't remember. It doesn't matter because I looked at it and went, well, why would I buy that bundle when I could buy a Super Smash Brothers bundle or something like that? What do I know, though?
Something, I hope.
Well, that's a different argument.
Well, that is true. That is true. So have we knocked this into the ground? Have we Fortnited enough? You guys want to play some Fortnite later today? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, if you download it on the PlayStation.
I can play it on the Xbox with you guys.
Wait, is that already in effect right now?
Yes. There are people now that were posting pictures on Twitter last night playing Fortnite. They had their whole family. Some were on the adults on the Switches, they said. The brothers were on the Xboxes and the sisters were on the PlayStations or something.
So how do I invite you?
Well, you have to do it from within the Fortnite game, I think it is, if you know my tag in there. I don't know how it works.
I don't know how that works because I can only invite people on my friends list. So
I don't know. It's something we can figure out. There is such a thing as the internet.
I'm up for trying it.
We can try it at some point.
I'm Googling.
And if it sucks, we'll go play Dead by Daylight.
He's Googling it right now. He's going to find out. I'm going to go on to our next news story. We were talking about Nintendo. Let's keep on the Nintendo front. Hey, guys, the #1 Pokemon Go player in the world has been suspended for 30 days.
For cheating?
For violating the terms of service. I don't know if Suncast in here has heard on this one, but what had gone on here, if you're not familiar, Brandon Tan is a Singaporean Pokemon Go player who has over 600 million experience as of October 12th, 2018. He's part of the verified level 40 club. What he had done that seemed to stoke Nintendo's ire is he had basically gone online and said, hey, I'm providing a Mewtwo service, which will consist of any IV 95% plus and IV 100% service that will be available until the 23rd of October. Help tag or share with anyone who might be interested. Thank you. So basically, he was going and farming Mewtwo's for people and then trading them with them somehow. I don't know exactly how it worked, but he advertises on Twitter on the 20th. It was intended to be active until the Mewtwo raids were all done. Yeah, Pokemon Go's terms of service do not allow you to pay services that occur outside the app. He posted it directly on Twitter. He was point blank blatant about it and got himself slapped with a 30-day suspension. Arguably
So he was
lucky,
he was charging people for it.
yes, arguably lucky that he was not actually shut down, but this goes to show how bad people want Mewtwo's, and they're not that hard to catch. I went out with my raid group last week when we hit 6 raids and I got 3 Mewtwo's. So I was at a 50% catch rate, which wasn't terrible.
Some people, if you can buy something, they'd rather buy it than earn it. That's you know, that's the way people are. So
Suncast is in the chat room. He has more on it than this article had on Pokemon Go Hub. He said Niantic gave him a deadline to take down his Mewtwo Services app. He never saw the email, so the deadline came and Niantic banned him. Which I think is fair.
Oh, and yeah, 30-day ban. That's not the worst thing in the world.
Man.
It is funny that it happened to the number one player on the game, though.
It's interesting because the services here, goddamn, if you want to get one Mewtwo with an IV of 95% or up, 200 Singaporean dollars. If you want a 100% IV, 500 Singaporean dollars. I don't know how that equates to the American dollar. We could probably figure that out, but I could see where Niantic might shut that down because they don't want people selling services like that. They
should have just not had a price on the advertisement. He should have just, talked money when they got to where he was at to actually trade.
So 1 Singapore dollar is 73 cents. So 200 Singaporean dollars for a 95% would have been $145 people were basically paying.
Wow.
And Suncast does bring up a good point. Pokemon Go in Singapore is extremely competitive. I have seen actual photos of people there. They're like riding bikes around that have like 6 phones mounted to their handlebars and like battery packs in like the front basket of their things like that. And Suncast also mentions his prices do not include the cost for raid passes. So, goddamn,
that's insane.
It's interesting. I mean, I guess I'm too casual of a Pokemon Go player. I never considered trying to pay for someone to catch a Mewtwo for me. Impressive, though.
But yeah, he's an entrepreneur.
I think I'm the only person on the show right now that's still playing Pokemon Go, though. So
yeah, I think I quit at like level 18.
I got sucked back in. It's a lot better now.
It's a long time ago.
I'm at level 32 now, almost 33.
That and I turned off my cell phone, so I couldn't play now if I wanted to.
As long as you got Wi-Fi, you can play.
Yeah, there's not much Wi-Fi going on in the city parks where there's Pokemon in my city.
There is in our city parks.
I live in Idaho.
I live in West Virginia.
They don't have Wi-Fi. Doesn't come off of potatoes.
Wi-Fi doesn't come off of mountains.
You don't have mountains.
What are you talking about? I live in West Virginia.
Mountains, Shandor River.
Wi-Fi covers those hills very nicely.
West Virginia, Mountain Mama. It has mountains. It's in the song, damn it.
It's the reason you're all called hillbillies. You're not called mountain billies. Hillbillies.
Are you talking to me too? Are you including me in this? I'm not in West Virginia.
West Virginia, South Kakalaki, North Kakalaki. They're all a bunch of damn hillbillies. Yeah.
You're in a field of potatoes and you're calling other people hillbillies? You, sir, live in a glass house. Do not throw stones at me.
Yeah, everybody still thinks we're the potato state. I get it.
You said it yourself.
80% of the sugar used in the U.S. is produced by Idaho. We're the fucking sugar state, but nobody knows it.
You're responsible for American obesity. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's why I'm
Idaho has made the country fat. Yeah. Sugar beets. everything that's not coming from corn syrup is coming from sugar beets.
Goddamn right.
Santa Paula said, "No, Mr. Kettle, we've had this discussion before." I like that. That's a good one.
So, guys, what we've learned here is don't go online and buy Mewtwo's for your Pokemon Go account, and don't offer to sell your services to get Mewtwo's for people on your Pokemon Go account.
Just don't offer it publicly.
Yeah. Just do it on your Discord server. You'll probably never get caught.
Yeah, do it in text message. You just don't do it on Twitter.
But I do everything on Twitter.
That's not true.
Everything I do is on Twitter.
I've never seen any porn of you on Twitter, so not everything you do is on Twitter.
Who says it's under my actual account?
Oh!
Whoa!
Chris has got a secret account. Uh-oh. All right, Willie. Now you got to find that.
What's up?
Chris has a secret porn account on Twitter. Are you not paying attention?
Why would I care about that?
That's
I'm
good
still
answer.
doing research on Fortnite and the cross stuff.
Willie's still trying to spell Google. This is going to be a while.
It is.
No, I
While,
can
while
spell
Willie's
it.
working on that, while Willie's doing his research, Anthony, why don't you let us know what's going on in your world for News of the Week?
All right. So last week we talked about, the problem with Hollywood doing remakes with the Chucky coming out. Because, we'd hoped that instead, we'd get something original from Hollywood. So then the problem is that we get something like this where Matt Talbot and Avi Arad have confirmed that Morbius will be the next film in the universe after Venom. They're the two producers running the Venom movie and building up the Spider-Man connected universe that's not connected to Spider-Man. Because someone at Sony is fucking insane. They added that Jared Leto will bring a similar level of intensity and charisma and devotion to the character of Morbius as Leto did with the Joker. So the most original thing that Hollywood can bring us these days is turning a comic or a book into a movie. And so now we're going to get Morbius the Living Vampire, but we're going to get it with Jared Leto.
Boo.
And I'm trying to not be sad about this while I'm watching Joaquin Phoenix walk around as a $4 version of the Joker in those awful looking photos. And I'm hoping these movies are good. I really hope they are. I hope on Friday I'm blown away by Tom Hardy and Venom. I don't think I will be, which the upside is that my bar is set really fucking low. So
I'm not even going to go see that shit show movie.
it's the
Which one?
51st
Venom.
Marvel film I will have seen in a row on opening day. I can't quit after 50.
If this gets a sequel, it's because of people like you.
You're part of the problem.
Yes. Vote with your pocketbook.
I am, and I like Tom Hardy.
And just sneak into the movie. Don't give it any
Oh,
money.
sorry, Mrs. Whatever. I got a parasite. I'll see you later. Fucking dumbest piece of shit ever.
Just buy a
Oh, come on. That line,
Go another road.
that line is way better than the turd line. I really hope that's something that's in the preview that's not in the movie.
All bad. The symbiotes.
That's not true. Well, the one chick that can't say the word symbiote, that chick's ridiculous. But no, the fact that Venom actually looks like Venom, I love.
Except
'Cause
there's no spider logo.
And it makes sense there wouldn't be because this is a world where fucking
But that's
Spider-Man doesn't
Venom.
exist.
Venom has a fucking spider on his chest.
Actually, here's a little bit of spoiler because I
Pardon my
read like a
language.
comic. No, it's not really a spoiler because in a comic they've already released. All right, it is an alien from what I read in the comic. So
Well,
it's
yeah,
not from an alien planet.
so did Venom.
Well, I'm saying it. Well, I'm saying this movie. Hopefully, it didn't change the fucking thing. That is not an alien. It's like
Yeah,
man.
it's just not Spider-Man bringing him back from the Secret Wars world. But it was
my
always
God, you're missing
it was
my
always
point.
an alien.
Well, no, not in the Ultimate Comics. But anyway, I'm happy they're making it an alien, not man-made, because there's nothing about space in any of the trailers.
Well, no, it shows a crash spaceship in the very first trailer.
I don't remember that shit because it's fucking stupid as hell.
You're complaining about something that they already explained in the movie.
And you know what? In the movie,
Don't
the movie's
remember.
not out. But
In the trailer, they show a crash spaceship.
and you like Tom Hardy? How come when he does that whole fucking line when "Who are you?" and he does the face dissipates? How come Tom Hardy doesn't look like he's giving any emotion? We're Venom. Blah, 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 blah.
Because he got paid.
Because he's used to not
You know
acting with his face. Because
You
the
got
last
me
two
there.
movies,
Got
in the
paid
last
for
two
it.
movies, they've had his face covered. He forgot how to move his facial muscles.
You know, I can't argue. You guys
between
changed my
Bane and
mind.
Mad Max. Yeah, he does all his acting. It's all in his eyes, man. It's all in his eyes.
You got me there. You know what? I'm a man who can change his thoughts. If you can change my mind on anything if you make a good point. I am not someone who doubles down and no, you're wrong. I don't care.
Which is
Like
good.
Chris does.
Unless I'm talking about a controller to a console, and then he just can't let it go.
Because I'm saying that's personal preference, and you're just fucking wrong because they've mastered this after 4
personal-
generations.
Stop.
Personal preference,
I was
but
just
you're
going
wrong.
for a joke. Don't take us back down this path. Let's talk
fucking
about
movie.
Venom.
He even agrees and said it's personal preference,
Okay.
but you're wrong.
Because it's already perfect. Hey,
Stop,
okay, here's
stop,
something.
stop.
No. Do not trust me. You know the whole Bowsette thing?
Oh,
You know,
God.
have you seen the one where they try to put the crown on Waluigi?
No.
Oh no.
Nothing happens because he's already perfect. I'm
Nice.
serious. That's the one. He like, bloop, nothing changed.
Like somebody did it as a meme or what?
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, so we're getting another original idea from Hollywood, and so we're getting a Morbius movie with Jared Leto. So, Jared Leto's a great actor.
So another Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man?
Yeah, so what they're doing is they're building up the Spider-Man universe, and allegedly they have the idea that at some point Spider-Man will interact with all these characters. So they're kind of like trying to build the backstory of this world. So like Venom will live in his own cinematic universe right now, where he's not connected to anything. It's not connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, in San Francisco.
Which they have stated. And so when Morbius is introduced, Morbius allegedly will somehow be interconnected with the Venom world. And then they'll keep doing that with multiple villains, which we keep hearing rumors of the Black and Silver movie with Black Cat and
Got
Silver
canceled.
Sable. Yeah, which, I mean, they cancel it, they bring it back, they cancel it, bring it back. So, but they still have access to all the Spider-Man villains. So they could do 6 or 7 movies, build up all these villains, put them in an interactive world, and then have Spider-Man actually interact with all of them.
Man, I'm so glad Marvel's doing such good work making Spider-Man awesome so that fucking Sony can ruin it with their villain universe that they eventually get the rights to Spider-Man back and drop him in and everyone goes, the fuck?
Well, I mean, it's fallen short before. We only got 2 of the Amazing Spider-Man films where they were building up the Sinister Six, which is why we had the director from that movie went to start filming a Sinister Six movie, and then it got canceled, which, honestly, I was looking forward to it. I thought if they'd done Amazing 3 and then done a Sinister Six movie based on the Electro with Jamie Foxx and fucking the characters we'd had in there, that could have been really cool. We could, I mean, the Vulture suit that they showed in that it definitely was very different from the one that they showed in Homecoming, but it was a cool looking Vulture suit. I'm not, still wasn't really stoked about the Rhino, but it was Paul Giamatti. He was kind of cool as a Russian gangster.
like it.
Sony doesn't know what they're doing with superheroes. It's that simple.
Yeah, so I mean, they're trying something else. I mean, I like the idea of they're trying to build up a backstory to it. I mean, it's more the Marvel method than the DC method. It's if they can make a good Venom movie, hopefully, then hopefully we get a good Morbius movie, and if those build on each other, it's like Iron Man 1. Nobody expected fuck all from that first Iron Man movie. At the time, Iron Man was a 3rd-tier character at best, and nobody gave a damn. But Jon Favreau made a perfect film, and we got 10 fucking years worth of fantastic movies out of it, and it's all based on that one really good idea. And it could work. I hope it works. That's my only takeaways. I hope Jared Leto kicks ass in it. We've seen him do amazing roles in films before. I still like his Joker. I think Suicide Squad is an awful movie, but I actually liked his Joker.
No,
I
Joker's crap.
I'm going to take the opposite
it's a
stance. I hope
version
this
of the
movie
Joker.
does terrible, so Sony doesn't fuck up Spider-Man with it.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
you have the idea that if Venom does bad, that they'll stop.
Yeah, that,
I
If
do.
if
Look at
Venom makes
Universal
four-
monster movies. What happened
if
to the
Venom
Mummy?
if Venom makes $14, Sony's going to say, "Hey, look, we just made $2 billion selling video games of Spider-Man. Let's make a Morbius movie." They've still got tons of money coming in. It's fucking Sony. They're not going to go broke. It's not Universal lost so much money on the Dark Universe shit. It literally hurt their pocketbook. It hurt their bottom line. Sony has enough money that they could bomb 5 or 6 films before it would hurt their bottom line. I mean, you just talk about how many PlayStations are out there in the world?
And it more than double Xbox?
Yeah, at $200 to $400 a pop. Sony's not hurting for cash. Venom could bomb, and I'll bet you it would even slow down production on Morbius.
But you're thinking like Sony's all under one thing. They're that's different departments so they have to answer to different people. So
Well, of course, they still have, everybody's got bosses, and Sony Entertainment and Sony, whatever their movie thing is all different, but it's all still Sony. It's all still one big-ass checkbook.
If the movie part fucks up, they're not going to say, well, the gaming part's going to lift us back up. No, they're thinking the movies needs to pick us up. They're not thinking about the games.
They'll
They're
make changes,
separated.
but they won't cancel shit.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I believe that.
If one of the Disney parks starts losing money, they're not going to go, we're closing this fucking park, even though we have all these billions of dollars from the Marvel films.
That's a little bit different.
It's different divisions in the same company.
Oh, I thought you meant like one park and then the other park gets affected.
No, if one movie does poorly, Sony's not going to shut down their movie studio and stop making Spider-Man films when they still hold the rights to Spider-Man characters.
Well, I don't mean
they're going to move forward.
Shut down the whole movie division. I mean just the Spider-Man's like, hey, we're fucking this up. It's not making us money. Let's change this up. Let's change it. So let's not make the Mummy 2 and the Black
Lagoon. Do you really understand how bad a movie would have to be for them to not make money off a Spider-Man related film?
Well, I think we're going to find out.
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2. They didn't continue it. That's how bad it has to be.
That had nothing to do with the amount of money it made, and that movie made fucking money. The only reason Garfield didn't come back for a third one was because of contract negotiations between Sony and Marvel to add Spider-Man to the MCU, which caused a recasting and a whole reboot. It had nothing to do with the money that Amazing Spider-Man 2 made.
Actually, Amazing Spider-Man 2 was fairly well panned and didn't make as much as they expected it to.
No, it didn't rock, but it didn't lose them money. Like, it still made money.
And I still say Amazing Spider-Man 2, best Spider-Man suit ever.
It was a really good suit. See, I still like the Tom Holland. That's the closest to Ramita on or
Stark suit.
No, well, yes. I hate that it's a fucking Stark suit. The idea that Peter Parker needs fucking Tony Stark to make him a goddamn suit. Fuck Tony Stark. Team Cap all the way.
No, fuck Team Cap, but fuck Gwyneth Paltrow more.
Well,
how is she top billed over fucking Robert Downey Jr. and Marissa Tomei in that fucking movie? How?
Because it's in her goop contract.
God damn, fuck that bitch. Let's move on before I start saying more stuff.
At least we can always go back and watch 7 and find her head in a box.
Sailor Bolin, thank you for the comments in the chat room. He's right. There's some other Sony stuff. Keep in mind, Ghostbusters 2016 bombed so hard it killed the franchise because they had plans for a whole Ghostbusters universe coming out of that, and it
shouldn't have happened because that movie was okay. It was pretty good. I'm going to say right now, it was pretty good. Wasn't great.
Was funny in it. Yeah,
wasn't terrible at all by no stretch.
My dislike for that movie was that they couldn't decide if it was a sequel in the same world or if it was its own thing. And because by the time the movie hit theaters, they still hadn't made that decision, that made it problematic to see Ghostbusters symbols in the movie, but then to see Ghostbusters actors from the previous films in different roles. It was just confusing.
Yeah, I didn't like Ghostbusters 2016, I'll be honest.
But was it a bad movie? Would you say that?
If I hadn't gotten it for free for signing up with Movies Anywhere, I probably would never have watched it. How about that?
I bought it. I'm happy with it.
I haven't bought it and I haven't watched it again, but I watched it in the theater and I had a good time. Like, it wasn't awful.
I would have movie passed it if it existed at that time for me.
I do say if you do own it or can rent it through something, or if they ever do show it, they do something cool that Sony actually did a little bit tampering with. It was Sony, right? Yeah, it was Sony.
I think so.
Yeah, they actually did a little what's it called? Split depth. Where you have the normal borders on movies, the top and bottom. I forget what it's called. You know what I'm talking about?
The black bars.
Yeah, the black bars on the top and the bottom. I think they have a term, don't they?
Yeah, there is a term for it, but I can't remember it.
Well, anyway, yeah, they kind of do some split depth with like some special effects every now and then in the movie. Like something like pops out, it'll actually break through the black bars.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah, every now and then. There's another movie that did it. I can't remember off the top of my head. I remember that one did it for sure. Yeah, split depth.
Yeah,
split depth. Yeah, I've never heard that term. Learn something new every day.
I'm full of shit.
We are out of the news of the week, but one thing I do want to bring up is if you want to enjoy the Star Wars haters fanboy tears right now, Kathleen Kennedy's deal got extended 3 years.
So what's that mean?
Fuck all those
Is
people.
it good or bad?
It depends on your view of how current Star Wars is. If you're some of the crybabies out there like, oh, Rey's a Mary Sue, it should all be about Luke and not these other people that are crying because they don't like how Star Wars has changed, you're probably not very happy.
I actually met one of those people in public, and I felt so sad when I was wearing a Funko Pop Force Awakens t-shirt, and he's like, you don't actually like the new movies, do you? I'm like, yeah, there's Star Wars. I like Star Wars. He's like, but it's all that Kathleen Kennedy lady making changes and making girls. And I was like, oh my fucking God, you're really saying this out loud publicly? What is wrong with you? I don't get people that hate on Star Wars.
While I don't agree with all of the things that have happened in the current Star Wars, and I have my concerns on something specifically that they cram too many movies into things, which I think they talked about addressing.
That's what hurt Solo.
It did. Solo's actually a good movie. It's my favorite of the new Star Wars movies, actually. I'm not trying to.
Wait, really?
I'm not trying to. Yeah, I'm not trying to throw dirt around, things like that. It's just much like Sailor Paul, and I'm so sick of the current Star Wars fandom. I enjoy the fact right now that some people are so butthurt that Kathleen Kennedy got an extension on her deal, but
yeah, that is good.
I think the fandom has almost ruined it for me at times now because I'm just so tired of people complaining over stupid things. All I can remember is prior to episode 7 being like, man, I can't believe we're getting another Star Wars. I never expected this to happen. And then people that just go out of their way to shit on everything that comes out in Star Wars now, it really turns me off of it. Like, I should have been super excited for Solo. I should have been super excited for episode 8. I was marginally excited for episode 8, but at this point it's like, oh, there's another Star Wars. Well, I'll see it at some point. It's not like me with like a Marvel movie now where I'm like, oh my God, Captain Marvel's coming out in 5 months. I can't wait to see it. There's a Star Wars movie coming out in a year and a half, year and 4 months, whatever it is, or I guess year and 2 months. I'm not sitting here going, oh, I can't wait to see a trailer, things like that. The fandom kind of hurt it for me, and that sucks to say because I go back to how I used to be on Star Wars and I miss it.
That does suck. Yeah, I'm stoked. Like, I'm super excited to see what JJ's going to do because it's the first time ever we've had a director do a film, then somebody came in and did the next one, and then a director comes back to finish the trilogy of those 3 stories. Like, that's never happened before, so that's going to be really cool because, as we saw, Rian Johnson threw a whole bunch of JJ stuff out the window and went in a totally different direction with this movie. And so to see a course correct by the director of 7 coming back to do 9, I'm super excited to see that. And I mean, honestly, I love 7. I enjoyed 8. I liked Solo. I still think 7's my favorite of the new ones, other than Rogue One. I still think Rogue One is almost a perfect film. And that's brand new Star Wars. And it was brand new Star Wars telling an old-ass story where we all knew how it was going to end. It's the fucking Titanic of Star Wars. We knew everybody was going to die at the end, and it was still fantastic. It gave us the best on-screen Vader ever. I'm still excited for Star Wars, but I mean, it's just
dad jokes and everything.
Yeah, the jokes, some of the jokes are bad, but I'm still excited for Star Wars. I guess I'm getting better at blocking people on Twitter because it is probably the most toxic fandom. I mean, comics has had some real bad shit going on. I mean, there's a whole
with Comicsgate.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a whole entire group that I'm not even gonna mention because fuck those people. They literally have like a boycott list, and it's a boycott list of the who's who of the best people in comics because these people are idiots. But I mean, fandoms have, it's become that whole thing where people are so fucking, this is mine and I own it. And once it becomes part of the public thing, then we have ownership. It's fuck you. Let creators create shit, and if you want to complain about it, change the fucking channel. Not everything is made for everybody.
Yeah, you create something.
Yeah, you don't like it, go make your own.
I don't disagree with any of that right there.
Be the change you want.
The old George Carlin bit. The radio's got 2 knobs on it. One that turns on and raises or lowers the volume. The other one changes the channel. If you don't like what you're listening to, change the fucking channel. Nobody cares that you're offended. Nobody cares that you think Rey is a Mary Sue. Nobody cares that you're offended that there's a black stormtrooper. Oh, God! If you're a fucking racist, go watch a white movie.
Here's the thing. Rey might be a bit of a Mary Sue, but Luke Skywalker is a Gary Stu. I mean, let's be honest.
Gary Stu.
That's the trade-off for it. I mean, you go back and look at the original Star Wars. Let's be honest. Luke Skywalker's pretty overpowered. Everything good happens to him, basically. Similar to the same arguments people make about Rey. Do I think they're both OP? Yes. Do I think they're the strict definition of a Mary Sue, Gary Stu? No.
I've never heard the term Gary Stu.
Yeah.
But I do love the fact that people are offended by the fact that the Jedi Master went away and hid. That's what all fucking Jedi Masters do. Go watch the old movies. Yoda hid. Ben Kenobi hid. Jedis run away and hide. They get scared and they go hide in the desert or in a fucking cave or in a swamp. That's what they do.
Well, here's a question for you: Did Luke Skywalker actually lightsaber duel anyone before he went to go train with Yoda?
No.
Yeah, it's a little bit different then, wouldn't you say? Because Rey, she was fucking fighting. What's his name on?
Yep. But Rey also grew up on a planet fighting for her life, scrapping metal and using that stick.
You're right. You got me.
Luke was a farm boy who, as far as we saw, had never been in a fight before in his life. We see Rey beat the shit out of a couple of people on a planet before she ever gets her hand on a lightsaber, and she's carrying a fucking metal bow staff. I have a bow staff. I have 4 bow staffs from my days in martial arts. I use one that's really nice and light for practice, and I have a super heavy Chinese red oak one. That's still wood. I can't imagine the strength you would build up of years spinning around a fucking metal bow staff.
And let's be honest, guys, it's not just Star Wars is having fandom problems too. So they're pulling up the fact that the Doctor Who fandom right now is split at some points just because there's a female doctor.
Really?
Yeah, there's some people. Yeah. Suncast brought up a good point too. He goes, I would create Star Trek content, but CBS apparently doesn't like fans creating anything Star Trek related. CBS is so toxic to their fans at times to try and create fan-inspired stuff that they shut it down because it's infringing on our copyright.
Which is funny because Star Trek used to air fan fiction. People used to be able to send in scripts, and if they liked it, they would actually hire that person to write an episode.
Well, did you hear the latest thing that they shut down that was a fan initiative? There's been all these fan films and stuff that people have done that CBS has shut down, like things that were Kickstartered even. They're like, oh, nope, you're making money off of this to do it. They got it shut down. So there was a 3D recreation of the Enterprise D, because, you know, they did the Star Trek Bridge Commander VR thing, where you could go in VR and walk the decks of the Enterprise. Yeah, CBS had it shut down.
What?
Because it was their intellectual property being used.
You won't let us do it. You do it then.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, that's the flip side of it. It's not the fans that are as bad there. It's that the company doesn't let the fans do the creative things. Go back like to the 2000s with Lucasfilm and things like that. They encouraged fan films and fan fiction and fandom. Like they actually helped sponsor like some awards that went to some of the fan films. Some of the fan films that came out in that time, they're not actually canon or anything like that, but they're cool and they were awesome to see. And Lucasfilm encouraged them to do it. That's how it should be. Encourage the fans to do things. Just because someone makes an awesome fan film doesn't mean someone's going to confuse it with your Star Wars.
Well, and that's also, I think that's the big difference where it's one person making a decision versus a company. Because CBS has to defend a copyright. And so anybody that puts out anything that has the word Star Trek on it now, if they don't try to shut it down, then people can make more money off the property. While George Lucas can say, hey, anybody that wants to do something Star Wars, I'm cool with it. And we're going to build a big, giant Star Wars universe. And he did. He built one of the largest, most cooperative, fandoms in all of existence. Star Wars fandom is fucking huge. There's a reason they've had their own conventions forever. Like, it's fucking huge. And it covers so many different aspects of the fantasy world that he came up with. While you have CBS going, yeah, if you do this, we're going to fuck you over and stop it because we're not making money off of it and we have to defend our copyright. As like Stephen King for a long time, I think it might still be in effect. He had a clause in his all of his movie stuff that says anything that's not being filmed or in production, any movie that's not under contract, you can take any of his short stories you want and go film them. You can go make a short movie. Yeah,
Dollar Babies, right?
Yeah, he made that public to where he said, "Hey, I own these stories. If you want to go make a short film, go make a short film." He loves them. He thinks they're great. And tons of his short stories have been turned into little short films, short movies, little fucking cartoons and stuff. And it's great because he owns it. I think that's the big difference between when you have one entity in charge of an IP versus a company.
Yeah, it's frustrating from a fandom standpoint on a lot of things. And we could talk about this all day long because there's all sorts of fandoms that are split and that are twisted and it doesn't feel right anymore. And in most cases, I don't think the problem is the actual content as much as it is so much the fans that have a weird feeling of entitlement to things. And I sort of get that to some extent because remember, you go back a few years before I've mellowed as much on here. At first, I was really upset over the Marvel Comics acquisition by Disney. And I was also upset by the Star Wars acquisition by Disney because I said, I don't know what they're going to do to things, but for the most part, I think that Disney has done perfect by Marvel, for lack of a better, other than James Gunn, but we're not going to touch on that. We've talked about that enough right now.
Well, comics wise, they have made literally, from what I can tell, still to this day, no changes. The only change they made was they brought the Star Wars comics licensing rights back from Dark Horse to Marvel because Why would they have another company publish their comics when they own a comic company? Like, that's really all Disney did. Once the Dark Horse comics expired, they brought the Star Wars contract back to Marvel. That's it.
Yep. So, I mean, we could talk all day long about how the fandoms have changed, things like that. It's as simple as this, how I look at it. Enjoy what you like. Don't be a dick to people who don't like what you like. It's one thing to debate, and debates can get spirited. That's fine. But don't be a dick and be like, you're an asshole because you like the PlayStation 4 controller better.
Really? I'm not bringing this up anytime. This is all you, Chris. Every goddamn time bring it up.
I was just gonna say we don't hate Willie because he's wrong about Man of Steel. He's just wrong about Man of Steel.
Yeah. Well, I was going for a punchline. I apologize, but you understand the spirit of what I'm saying here, which is because someone likes something different than you, it doesn't make them wrong. It doesn't make them an asshole. It doesn't make them terrible. You can jokingly at the end of an argument be like, man, you're just an asshole, and laugh about it, as long as you both understand it's a joke.
Well, and it also used to be a thing where you could fall off of a fandom and just be done with it. Like Kevin Smith has talked about the fact that he hasn't read a comic book in like 10 years. He's still a huge fan of comics and a fan of all the comics he grew up reading, but he doesn't spend 8 hours a day online talking shit about new comics. He just doesn't read them because he fell off of the fandom. You have people that now spend literally most of their majority of their time online hating on things. And that makes them toxic people. And then it ruins fandoms. I mean, like, how many people have had to drop off of social media because of the fandoms involved in the whatever thing they're in comics or movies or whatever? Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, if you don't like something, just don't talk about it. Talk up the stuff you love. Like, that's a much more important thing. Like I said, I hope Venom's awesome. I hope Morbius is awesome. My fingers are crossed. I hope they're fucking good. I don't want to talk bad about them. I hope the next DC movie kicks ass. I hope it's amazing.
Bachman, we talk about shit we hate all the time on here.
But we need to focus more on stuff that's positive. Like, I'm looking forward to Shazam. I'm not sure about Aquaman. I think Jason Momoa is amazing. I think Aquaman could be great. I'm just iffy on the trailer. But I think Shazam looks like the best fucking thing DC's done so far. I think Shazam might be better than Wonder Woman because it's fucking lighthearted. It's bright colors. It's what fucking Shazam's supposed to be.
Agreed.
It looks like another director finally nailed what a character actually is. And I am super fucking excited for it. And Chuck looks awesome in that suit.
I mean, here's something I would point out. Will, you'd say that we talk about a lot of things that we hate. I think we've done a really good job the past couple of years of migrating more towards the positives on things. Yes, we might make the typical punchline about DC films and stuff like that because that's the low-hanging fruit. But I think we've done a pretty good job of trying to be more positive and then less of hating things, but more being like, I don't understand why they're doing this. It doesn't make sense to me. Without just kind of discounting what everyone says. At least I think we've made pretty good progress in being less shitty people.
I hate that plot hole in Batman v Superman.
That's fine. You're allowed to hate a plot hole. Like I said, I'm only mad at that movie because it should have made $3 billion. If they'd done a better version of that, the first on-screen fight between Batman and Superman should have made double what it made in the theaters. And it could have if we'd gotten a different version of it. But hey, it's still, we got to see Batman and Superman fight on screen. That's not bad.
I look at it this way. I'm too old.
And I like Batfleck. I like Batfleck.
I'm too old and I'm too tired to spend my time arguing about things I hate. I'd rather talk about things I like and engage in debates on things with people whose opinions I respect and things like that. I don't
like
want...
Nightwing.
Yeah.
Kicking ass.
I don't want to go back to an earlier version of myself who enjoyed getting in dumb arguments with people on hate watching things. At this point, if someone likes something I don't, I'm happy to say, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's not it for me. And if we want to talk and debate some, that's fine. As long as it doesn't get personal and things like that. That's what I can't handle. I can understand the fact that Willie and I might have different opinions on things. Anthony and I might have different opinions on things. It's fine. It doesn't make me be like, you're a shitty person. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Most of the time.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember there was something else that was like that where like it was a huge thing that literally like was not marketed to me at all. And I saw it and was like, hey, that wasn't bad. Oh, fucking Yoga Hosers. Fucking Yoga Hosers. That movie, Kevin Smith specifically said he made it for 14-year-old girls. Like, he wanted that to be the movie that, like, teenage girls find on cable when they're fucking teenagers and, like, the movie they fall in love with. Like, some of us did with, like, the John Hughes films, like Breakfast Club and all those. That movie was not meant for me. That movie was not marketed to me. I watched it, and it was a weird, kind of good movie. But I didn't spend time fucking hating on it online because I didn't like it. It wasn't fucking meant for me. And it was funny. It has Bratzies. It had little tiny Bratzies, and those were awesome.
Well,
and
guys,
it had Ralph Garman.
I think Drasman found the perfect way for us to wrap up this conversation on fandoms and toxicity and things like that. So, Drasman, I'm going to throw it to what you said in the chat room. It must be such a truly sad and pathetic person to spend their time shitposting and harassing people, creators, actors, artists, when there is so much porn on the net. Lube up, be gentle with yourself, and hydrate afterwards.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
You nailed it.
Yeah, but
right there.
Drasman, I can only jerk off so many times in the day. I have a couple extra hours. I have to do something.
That's time for your art.
Have you not seen that meme? It's like when you're jerking off for the 20th time for the day, and it's a picture of Thanos. And it's a picture of Thanos. You did all that for a drop of blood?
Yeah, 20. Jesus Christ. After 10, it would just be smoke.
Old smoke crotch. Anyways, I think this does wrap up our conversation. I think we did have a pretty decent and adult conversation when it came to fandom.
It happens every once in a while.
Kudos to us for being mature internet residents. We did a good job, people.
We kick ass.
We did good. We didn't suck.
We didn't let Willie talk.
All right, so looking at the time, though, it is time for us to start wrapping up the show. Those of you guys who have listened to the show before or watched it before know we wrap up with a little bit called What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with you guys who are watching live or listening at a later date just what kind of geeky and nerdy things we've been getting into, so that maybe, just maybe, you'll want to go check them out too. So Anthony, kick us off. What have you been getting into?
I've been drafting my ass off in the Fantasy Comic League. I got Spider-Man, I got the Superior Octopus, I got Captain Marvel, and I got Multiple Man. So I got Team Superior going into October, Doc October, and I'm pretty sure that team's going to kick some ass. And then I believe I was doing a little better this week in the Fantasy Movie League, but I haven't checked the Sunday estimates. Oh, shit! I was down by 3 million yesterday, and they just updated the estimates. And thanks to Night School re-estimating up an extra 2 million, up to 28 million, I'm now in first place. Oh, my God.
Not much at all.
Yeah, that's the shortest set of leads I've ever seen. Lobster's behind me by 148,000. By like 1/10 of a million. And Cajun Sean's behind him by 280. Gotham Cineplex is 114. Willie's 118. So everybody's within 2 million of each other this weekend. It's a close race this weekend. Yeah, the new movies that came out did not do gangbusters.
Not at all.
But then yeah, I finally got I bought myself an actual stereo for my condo for the first time, which I'd been needing one for a while, and I'd backed a Kickstarter of the lead singer of the Spin Doctors was putting out a new album, and I backed it on vinyl. And so I decided to drop $100 and got myself an actual stereo with a record player on it. And so I did some ordering online, and I had to get myself the one album I have to own because I can't listen to my mom's copy anymore. So I got myself Thriller. So I've listened to that 2 times through on the way. And yeah, it's been awesome because also I pulled it out and I totally forgot that not only do you get song lyrics on the fucking pull sheet, you get illustrations by Michael Jackson for Thriller and for The Girl Is Mine with him and Paul McCartney. Like actual illustrations. Like I totally forgot these were in here from when I used to listen to this all the time when I was a kid. Yeah, so I've been listening to some albums, which has been awesome. So yeah, the draft went well. What else? Playing a lot of Dead by Daylight with Willie. Playing some I got my platinum on Spider-Man, so I've been playing that. I finished up the prior season's artwork and got Vin's sent out. I have Sister's artwork done, and I'm still not sharing those until the people get them. But I think Sister has taken at least a week off from social media because she hasn't responded. So hers is sitting in an envelope ready to go, and I'll share it once I can send it to her. And I started the work for last season. Robert C. Young and Lenny Rocks were the winners. So I'm doing Blue Marvel for Robert, and I'm doing Lenny wanted Typhoid Mary. So once again, 2 new characters I've never drawn. And yeah, I found an awesome reference picture of Keira Knightley from Domino that I'm using as the basis for the drawing I'm doing of Typhoid Mary. So it's going to look badass. And yeah, doing any character where you get to draw a line down their face and color half one side and half the other, it always makes it for fun. Making stuff asymmetrical is always fun in a drawing, especially when on female faces, usually the less detail, the better. And so actually having a solid line going down the face that gives you, the curves of the forehead and the nose looks really, really strange. And then, I got to find some more Blue Marvel artwork because I haven't read anything with him in it. And so I had to do some research on that character and read about him because I really knew absolutely nothing about was Adam Brashear, the Blue Marvel that they added to Marvel Comics on the Ultimates team, which is a pretty cool character. I'm liking him. I gotta find a good pose to put him in, get those done. And then, heading into October, I got my scary music now, so I can listen to Thriller 100 times. I'll just keep the phonograph turning. And I got Inktober coming up. I picked my theme. I think I know what I'm going to do for 31 days. So that'll be on my Instagram at Bachman Anthony on the Instagram. So there should hopefully be a post 31 in a row starting Monday?
Monday. Yeah, it's the first.
Monday, yeah. Because today's the 30th. Fuck, I have to do that tomorrow. Inktober is such a fucking task. But I've done 4 in a row so far, or this will be my 4th one in a row. 5 years ago I tried it and I didn't complete it. And then 3 years ago I did the Star Wars. The year after that I did video game characters. Last year I did the Rick and Morty's. And this year, I can just say it here for anybody that's actually watching, I will be doing Overwatch. So there are 28 characters in Overwatch now. So I'm going to do 31 sketch cards, one for each of the Overwatch characters, even the ones I fucking hate.
Ooh, and do a Pakamari.
What's a Pakamari?
That's the thing with the onion type thing and the squid tentacles coming out of it, like the little cute thing. It has little plushies and the Hanamura stage inside the little.
Oh, the plushies in the arcade.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do one of those for the last days, or I'll do it as an add-in. But I figured out there's 28 characters, so I can do 28 individual sketch cards, and then I figured the last 3 days I'll do characters I actually like Junkrat and Soldier, do duplicates of them in different poses. But so I'm going to do 31 Overwatch sketch cards in ink. So that's what I'll be up to. Driving myself crazy over the next couple of months or the next couple of weeks. So Inktober, it seems so easy the first 5 or 6. And you get deep into that second week and it's like, motherfucker, there's 2 more weeks of this. Oh my God. But that should be fun. That's what I'm getting into. Inktober is going to be good.
Nice. I will go next. Before I go into my stuff I'm getting into, Draftsman brought up a good comment in the chat room. I love the fact we had a mature conversation ending with a masturbation joke. So it's pure, all things good and nerdy right there.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's always how we finish. That's what it's all about. Right?
I knew we were.
It's all about being able to finish. If you can't finish, why even play?
I mean, hey, it's still fun. Hey, even on a rain delay, I still had fun.
See, I'm more of an Al Bundy. It's a race. If I finish first, that just means I win.
Fair enough. So I'll get into what I've been getting into, and then we'll start wrapping things up the rest of the way. Fantasy Comic League draft. Just got my draft done. I was second place last month, so I got to keep Peter Parker Spider-Man as my pick. Then picked up Miles Morales Spider-Man. Then picked up Otto Octavius Spider-Man. And then broke the theme with my 4th pick and took Thor Odinson. So my team is Team Spider-Hammer. That's what I've decided this month. I think I have a decent chance.
I'm going, Team Superior.
That works too.
Go Doc Ock.
Some of the other stuff I've been getting into, the Daredevil Season 2 trailers have been coming out on Netflix and on YouTube.
Season 3.
That's what I meant to say. Sorry, Season 3.
Yep.
They've been pretty good, and I cannot wait to see more Kingpin. That's all I'm going to say.
Have you noticed he looks more and more like the comic?
Yes. I love
Like,
Kingpin.
he's literally becoming fucking Wilson Fisk. Like,
okay.
It's so amazing. He's so nailed that character. But it seems like every time he's on screen as that character, he becomes more that character.
Well, I guess
it's so good.
He asked for art from Bill Sienkiewicz this time, who gave him a bunch of Daredevil Kingpin artwork that he was taking with him to the set and wasn't telling anyone. He was like, I would just stare at this and immerse myself into it. Like original art that he'd done for me of Daredevil and Kingpin. So, man, he's getting interesting.
Good. If you're not following him on Twitter, his Twitter is fantastic. He is one of the most jovial, happy, just empathetic, fucking fantastic guys on the internet. He spends all of his social media time trying to make people happy. He always tells people he's sending them bear hugs, because you can just imagine getting a bear hug from him. Oh my God, you just be enveloped in a giant person. He's a great guy. I love that dude.
And then the other thing I've been getting into is just work and stuff like that. Played a little bit of Spider-Man, but this week we watched American Vandal Season 2 and finished it. If you enjoyed Season 1 of American Vandal, I think season 2 is even better. It's all about figuring out who is the turd burglar.
Is that the one with the dicks on the car?
Yeah,
was the first one.
Season 1 was
Okay,
who drew the dicks. This season is who is the turd burglar.
It was the turd burglar.
Just don't even tell him anything else.
Yeah,
Just let him. You gotta see you gotta see it.
did you watch it? Wally?
Oh,
I saw part of the first episode. I didn't get to finish it, so
that's what I forgot. I watched all of season 8 of The Walking Dead on Netflix.
Oh, nice.
God damn. They did a pretty good version of All Out War. It's different because, the show and the comic are absolutely fucking nothing alike anymore. But it was entertaining television. That was some fun shit. And God damn it, Jeffrey Dean Morgan isn't amazing to watch. He's just great in everything.
That's true. So I think that's mostly what I've been getting into. Willie, what have you been getting into?
I'm gonna say a spoiler for the movie The Nun because I don't give a fuck. That movie's terrible. No one should go see it.
Oh.
Here's how it fucking ends. The nun gets spat at with the blood of Christ. Yes. Someone spits up blood that's still here on earth from the blood of Christ. What the fuck is this movie? It's long, it's boring. it didn't need to happen. It's a prequel, so you already know the nun's gonna survive, so what the fuck's the point of it? So yeah, don't go see The Nun. Other than that, I've been watching. I've been playing Dead by Daylight, a little bit Overwatching. Got all my arcade boxes done for the week. Woohoo! I know. Oh, I did get I went and got 2 movies. I need to watch them at home. Uncle Drew, which is still one of the best movies of this year so far, and then Action Point with Johnny Knoxville.
I thought Action Point was fun, but not fun enough to own.
Yeah, I said fuck it.
Whatever floats your boat, man. Who am I to judge?
Yeah. All right, like I said, my mind can change. I'm not ashamed of that. You shouldn't be either.
Or he just forgets what his opinion was.
That too.
And then I get remembered, but I was like, but I got it forever now on Voodoo. So whatever.
There you go.
You're perfect.
I mean, physical, but if that physical ever gets lost, it's on Voodoo. So there's nothing
I do like having the digital copies.
Yeah.
I do too, because if I'm in a mood and don't want to get up off the couch, I can just hit a button on my Roku and watch them there instead of going to get the Blu-rays.
I am finding that I do enjoy bouncing back and forth between Dead by Daylight and Spider-Man so much more because I don't have to take a disc in or out of the PlayStation because I have them both digital. So it's like, I don't have to move.
Yeah, welcome to my life that I've been living for a long time now. Because I think the last game I bought physically was Titanfall 2. Yeah, I think I see it over there. It's okay.
I think the games had somehow in my head fallen into the DVD category, but there's no bonus features on the disc of a fucking game. So I don't know why I was so insistent on buying physical copies of games where, it's so much better to just have it downloaded on my PlayStation and not have to do anything, just hit play. Yeah, I think I'll be doing digital games from this point forward. Yeah, movies I want all the bonus features on the disc and the menus and stuff. Which some of the ones on like iTunes with all the bonus features are as good, but still it's not the same as having a Blu-ray and a DVD and the digital copy. I like the triple pack.
I think that's about all I've been getting into. I think I'll probably remember something and interrupt a little bit later on.
I just forgot too. I wanted to say a huge thank you to Infinite Earths because we talked about it pre-show, but I didn't talk about it during the show. At iEarths, they had another contest giveaway, and I won a digital copy of Rampage this morning. So I woke up to a DM with a digital copy of George and his little friend The Rock. So I'm going to go watch that sometime today. And thank you, Infinite Earths. That was awesome.
Oh, and I'm still kicking ass in the movie league. I know you already mentioned it, but the fantasy movie league, I'm still number 1 overall.
Yeah, you are.
Somehow. I don't know how I'm doing it.
Those first 3 weeks, man, you put up some fucking points.
They didn't do that jack shit at all, though.
Well,
no one else is.
Yeah, the Double Predator, Double Nun, where the Nun got the bonus features last week. You got those.
None.
And then you had more Megs than anybody the week that the Meg got the $2 million bonus.
You goddamn right.
But yeah, that week, week 2, you had 5 Megs, Lobster had 4, but he had 3 Crazy Rich Asians while you had 1 Nun. And because of that difference, he was behind you by $186,000. Like, we've had the closest weeks and like disparity from first to fifth that we've ever had in this division. It's ridiculous.
And last thing I want to mention is in Dead by Daylight, I did reach rank 1. So woohoo.
Yeah, making it hard for us to find matches because I'm like rank 15.
So Chris, what are we talking about next? What's next on the docket?
Chris is going to play Dead by
We're gonna
Daylight.
shut it down.
No, something else is on the docket, Chris.
Wait,
It got moved. It got shuffled.
Wait, we're going to shut that shit down?
Yes.
No, not yet. Something got shuffled.
I know
around.
exactly what you're talking about, Willie.
I know you know what I'm talking about.
We do need to remind folks that the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast is part of a network of shows that you can find over at GonnaGeek.com. Generally, we plugged this earlier in the show, but I forgot, and Willie was kind enough to remind me. So while we may have 25 plus different shows in the network, we can't talk about all of them. We can really only talk about one. So, Willie, what show are we going to tell people about this week?
Kind enough. More like, you fucked up, I'm telling you now. I'm just kidding.
That's compelling audio right there.
This week, I am talking about Legend of S.H.I.E.L.D., a Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. Episode 249, Legion, Chapter 13. The Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Director SP, Agent Lorne, and Consultant Michelle discuss the 5th episode of the 2nd season of Legion, titled Chapter 13, as well as the weekly Marvel news and listener feedback. The agents also discuss the tight Legion creative team, the conspiracy lesson of the episode, when they picked up on the Lenny Amy connection, and their first reactions to the James Gunn firing from Guardians of the Galaxy, and if Clark Gregg will be returning to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Back to you, Chris.
Why, thank you, Willie, and thank you to everyone for checking out the Gonna Geek Network. You okay there, buddy?
Yes.
That was awesome. So, guys, looking at the time, though, it is time for us to start wrapping up this show. So, a big thank you to everyone who did join us live over on Geeks.live, and also to everyone who has caught the replays. As we shut everything down, rather, you guys have any final thoughts for us? Anything?
Speaking of wrapping it up, I think I heard a little blurb about Fox re-releasing Deadpool 2 as a PG-13 movie.
Yes.
Yep.
That they're also going to put new footage to make it like Princess Bride, where Deadpool is reading the story to a grown-up Fred Savage.
So would you say they wrapped it up? They're not raw dogging it for this one?
Oh, son of a bitch.
Not this time.
Wrap it up!
They're doing the anti-Willy version. They're going to wrap it up. Make it PG-13.
No. Enough of this. Before they ruin it anymore, we're getting out of here. We will see you guys next week live on Sunday with another brand new episode.
What did we ruin?
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek radio app, and over at our network home at GonnaGeek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@GonnaGeek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at Incompetech.com.